My parents didn't come to my graduation. They said it was just another piece of paper. An hour later, my phone rang, and everything they believed about me started to collapse. My graduation ceremony was scheduled for 10 a.m. on a bright Saturday morning, the kind of day people usually show up for. Parents with cameras, families with flowers, crowds that clap too loudly because pride doesn't know volume control. Mine didn't come. They told me 3 days earlier. Degrees don't guarantee anything, my father said. It's just paper, my mother added. They weren't entirely wrong, but they weren't right either, because that paper had cost me 4 years of exhaustion. Late nights, 2 part-time jobs, group projects where I carried more than my share. I hadn't gone to a prestigious university, no legacy admissions, no connections waiting on the other side, just work, the kind that doesn't get celebrated until it produces something visible. Still, I had hoped they would come. Not for the degree. For me, when I walked across the stage, I scanned the crowd once, not expecting to find them, just confirming I wouldn't. I shook hands, took the folder, and stepped off like it was any other day. No photos, no hugs, no one calling my name. After the ceremony, people gathered outside, families hugging, parents adjusting caps for pictures, laughter everywhere. I stood near the edge of it all, holding my diploma like something I had to justify. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Almost. Then I answered. Hello. Hi, is this your name? The voice asked. Yes. This is Rachel calling from. She named a company I recognized immediately. Not small, not local, a global company with a valuation I had only ever seen in articles. For a second, I thought it was a mistake. I'm sorry, I said. We reviewed your capstone project, she continued, and we'd like to discuss an opportunity with you. I looked down at the diploma in my hand, the same pointless paper, then back at the crowd that didn't include my parents. And for the first time that day, something shifted. I stepped away from the crowd, finding a quiet spot near the edge of the campus lawn. An opportunity? I repeated, still unsure I'd heard correctly. Yes, Rachel said. Your capstone on supply chain recovery models was circulated internally. It reached our strategy division. Circulated. That word alone meant it had moved far beyond a classroom. We're building a new team, she continued, and your framework aligns closely with what we're trying to solve. I sat down slowly on a low concrete wall. Students were still celebrating around me. Photos, laughter, parents calling out names. My moment had been quiet, but suddenly it wasn't small anymore. What kind of role? I asked. Junior strategy analyst to start, she said. Fast track if performance matches what we've seen. Fast track. I almost laughed. For years of grinding reduced to one phrase that actually meant something. We'd like to set up a formal interview this week, she added. This isn't a mass hiring process. You were specifically recommended. Recommended. Not lucky. Not random. Seen. I'm available, I said, my voice steadier now. Good, she replied. I'll send details shortly. And congratulations on your graduation. That last part landed differently because it sounded like she meant it. After the call ended, I sat there for a minute, then another. My phone buzzed again. A text from my mother. Done already? No congratulations. No question about how it went. Just timing. I looked at the message, then at the email notification appearing beneath it. Subject line, interview invitation, strategy division. I opened it. Company logo, calendar link, details clear and direct. Real. I typed a reply to my mother, then paused, deleted it. Instead, I stood up, adjusted my cap, and walked back into the crowd. Not to be seen. but because I finally understood something. The value of what I had done was never going to come from the people who refused to see it. By the time I got home that evening, the house was already loud. My father was watching something on television without really watching it. My mother was in the kitchen, talking more than cooking. Neither of them asked about graduation. That wasn't new. "What did they give you?" my father asked eventually, eyes still on the screen. "A certificate," I said. He nodded like that confirmed his opinion. "Told you. Waste of time." I didn't argue, not because I agreed, because I didn't need their approval to validate reality anymore. My phone buzzed again. Email. Then another. Then a calendar invite. I stepped into my room and closed the door. Subject lines stacked like they were competing for attention. Interview confirmation. Technical discussion invite. Preliminary offer overview. My hands slowed as I opened the first attachment. The company had sent a full outline. Role expectations. Team structure. Compensation range. The number made me pause. Not because it was impossible, because it was real. For a moment, I just sat there in silence, reading it again and again as if it might change. It didn't. It stayed the same. Outside my room, my mother called out, "You're going to get a normal job, right?" Normal. A word she used when she wanted life to feel predictable again. "I already have an interview," I said through the door. "With who?" my father asked immediately. I hesitated, then told them. Silence followed, not disbelief. Calculation. That familiar pause where they decide how something affects their narrative. Finally, my mother laughed lightly. "Oh, companies send those to everyone these days." I didn't respond, because I knew better now than to argue with people who needed my success to remain theoretical. The next morning, I received a second call. This time video. I answered it in a quiet corner of campus. Rachel appeared again, joined by 2 other executives. They didn't waste time. "We'd like to move you directly to the final interview stage," one of them said. "Based on your work, we don't need the usual filtering process." I blinked once. "That's not standard." I said. "It's not," he agreed. "Neither is your project." They explained the structure, team placement options, research direction, long-term growth path. Everything felt too clean to be accidental. When the call ended, I just stood there for a while. Students passed me, laughing, already moving on with their day. But mine had split into 2 versions now. One I had been told about my whole life, and one that had quietly started without permission. That evening, my parents finally noticed the difference. My mother found the email on my screen when she walked past my room. "What is this?" she asked sharply. "A job opportunity," I said. She laughed again, but differently this time. "Shorter, less certain. Don't get carried away," she said. "You still haven't started anything yet." I looked at her, then at the email, then at the life I had built without asking anyone to believe in it first. "I already have," I said quietly, and for the first time, I meant it completely. 2 weeks later, I sat in the final interview wearing the same simple shirt I had worn to graduation. No performance, no pretending, just answers. When it ended, Rachel smiled. "We'd like to extend an offer," she said. I accepted without hesitation. That night, my father said, "So it was real." I nodded. Yes, my mother didn't speak. And for once, I didn't need them to. Your one click can keep these stories alive. Subscribe, because every voice deserves to be heard.